All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight. Got a great show for you folks. It's not going to be too terribly long, and I actually mean that tonight. I'm only going to be on for an hour or a little over an hour. I have a couple of updates for you folks and a very, very interesting dating story to share with you folks here tonight that I saw on Reddit earlier today. Just interesting, to say the least. I've been talking about this stuff for a while. I haven't talked about dating dynamics in a while, and I'm going to share them tonight. But I've got an itch. Excuse me a second here. Wow, I've got this itch on my nose, and I don't know what it is. I think the allergens are kicking into high gear tonight because, wow, I've been sitting in my office, and I'm just, man, wow. But anyway, we'll deal with it. We'll be all good. But before we get to all of that, let me first of all make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me make sure that the back end of YouTube is rolling, and it looks like it is. God, this itch is killing me. Sorry, folks. This is bad. Back end is rolling quite well. And the front end, did I not switch accounts here? I thought I did. Did the notification not go out? Maybe it's just taking a while, but that's okay. That is okay. I see it here on my home page. Let me just check the sound and see that it's sounding, or hear that it's sounding okay, which is what I'm trying to say. Wow. But anyway, we'll deal with it. We'll be all good. Before we get to all of that, let me first of all make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Oh, there's a notification. Thank you, YouTube. Appreciate that. All right, we are rolling quite well. So just one or a couple of announcements here. First of all, I was participating on someone else's or in someone else's live chat earlier tonight. I was in Dana's chat, who runs the Adventure AZ channel. She did a couple hour live stream earlier tonight. So if you want to check that out on the replay, go to my community tab and click on the link there. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe and then you bang the bell and select all notifications, because we're going to be working together on some very, very positive and inspiring shows regarding overcoming alcoholism and substance abuse and stuff like that. My lady and I are going to be collaborating with her. My lady was watching part of her show tonight as well, and she was just very impressed. My lady says, "Have a great show, my love." Thank you, babe. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. So that's the first thing I want to discuss here. I wanted to discuss tonight. The second thing is that Brutally Lauren and I were going to go live tonight, but she wanted to see if I could do the show tomorrow instead. And I said, that's cool. And we decided we're going to go live tomorrow night right here on Coach Eli 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. The event is already up. So make sure that you're either subscribed with the bell banged and then selecting all notifications, or at least make sure that you go to the event page on my channel and click to get notified so you don't miss that show. Lauren and I have known each other for, I'd say, over 5 years, and we really haven't engaged that much over the last 4 years, a little bit in between, but there was a lot that we both went through on the platform that kept us from creating our greatness, and we finally reconnected. And she's back to being the moderator here, and I'm going to interview her tomorrow night, and she's going to share her story, her version of what she dealt with during the same time period that I dealt with similar things. So don't miss that. So that is that. Besides that, my lady's chair should be arriving in the next couple of days. I don't have an exact date yet, or even a tracking number, because the chair I ordered for her through Amazon was through a third-party vendor, and it's up to them to get me the information. I have not received the information yet, but the chair should be here sometime within the next 1 to 5 days. As soon as we get that chair, that's when we're going to start doing live streams together again in the studio. And that's when we're going to start collaborating with Dana from the Adventure AZ channel and do the first of probably many shows with Dana. My lady really was inspired by Dana's stream tonight because she can relate to Dana on many things. So we definitely look forward to that. All right. So that is that. The topic of tonight's show is what's up next, which I just mentioned, everything that's up next on this channel, plus an interesting dating story from a young couple. Sorry, I'm a little tired, folks, but I'll be okay. So pardon me if I jumble my words a bit. We're going to be sharing an interesting dating story from a young couple. So let's just go ahead and get right to that. Okay, we're going to switch over to the browser source here. And this is from the subreddit r/relationships. It's quite a long posting, but I thought it was very interesting. I'm going to read it. I'm going to share my thoughts. And then I'm going to read a few comments before we go off the air, and I'll go through the chat as we go through this. Let's get right to it. I am 25 female and my boyfriend is 30 male. That's a pretty good age difference right there. But I'll tell you this. Once a man reaches his 30s, he typically has started to get himself into a very good and financially stable position. Typically, men, by the time they reach 30, have reached a level of financial stability, right? They've either gone to college or gotten some, trade certification, or they've worked their way up in some company and they've started to make some really good money. And men start to build a lot of resources, or have started to build a lot of resources by the time they reach their early 30s. And when a lady is in their mid-20s, they're typically still going to college or trying to figure out what they want to do. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Nowadays, a lot of women, they will, have fun in college. They'll date around, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do. And they're not necessarily serious about settling down or even starting to have children until their early 30s. So that would be my red flag in this situation here right off the bat. It's not necessarily a red flag. Every woman is different. And every man is different, but you just never know until you get to know someone and spend time with someone, right? I brought up the topic of my future goals / dreams, such as marriage. Okay. I'm not saying I want that right now. Of course not, because you're too young, and maybe you're not sure. But in the future, I want to be proposed to and have a wedding. Okay. What woman doesn't want that? Or at least they think they want that, right? His response, he wants a house and kids first, then get married, but without the legalities. This has become a very typical thing amongst modern men. And before I start reading her backstory that she shared here in this posting, can you blame men with modern day divorce laws? Okay, modern day divorce laws. Most states are community property, meaning that during the time of the marriage, all assets accrued are shared 50-50 if there's a divorce, right? And if the man is the breadwinner at that time and has made more money, he stands to lose more resources. Now, on the flip side, I've seen women that were the breadwinners in their marriages, and they went through a divorce and they lost a lot of their resources. So it can happen to women too. And even though, like I've said before in the past, it's been a while since I've said this, but even though I've said in the past that 30% of the breadwinners in the U.S. now are women, which is staggering compared to what it used to be before they were liberated, men are still about 70% of the breadwinners. So this more so applies to men still in the modern world, but it does apply to women too. It applies to the breadwinner, right? So I understand where this guy is coming from. But if he truly wants to be with someone, okay, and have a real relationship, he's going to have to find a balance, and he's going to have to learn to trust someone. So let's read more here, and I'll share more as we go along. Let's see. Let me check out the chat here real quick. Okay, nothing going on in the chat there. 13 people here. Thank you so much for being here. Backstory. When we first met 2 years ago, I was in a phase in my life where I still didn't want a boyfriend or to get close to someone because of a past relationship, and I could easily be annoyed when on a date and get the ick pretty quick, even if they seemed great. And that's what men are afraid of. Women change their mind whenever the wind shifts, right? Women are the biggest mind changers in the world because your emotions fluctuate all day, every day. And that's why men have become afraid to commit and get married through the legalities of it in your state, if you're here in the U.S. or province in another country, right? It's because of what you're saying here, man. It's not certain. And if a man, takes that chance and 5-10 years down the road, you leave him, he has a lot to lose, right? Especially if he's the breadwinner. And in this case, this guy's 5 years older than you, so I'm sure at this point he has more resources than you have to bring to the marriage or the relationship, right? Okay. Plus, I just wasn't ready to trust again since I had been cheated on and lied to. And you're also young and probably having fun and you want to experience things, right? Okay. Also, he hadn't had a girlfriend in years, and the last one was really mean and controlling, and they dated for like 5 years or so, and it was apparently really awful. Okay, yeah, he's had bad experiences. He doesn't want to go through it again, right? It's hard to trust people, right? We spent a year seeing each other off and on a bit. So you were hooking up and having fun, right? And I bet you everything was good at that point until, you brought up marriage, which is not a bad thing as long as you've been dating for many years and you get a feel that he's ready for it, right? Typically, a woman's going to know if a man truly loves her and believes in marriage and wants to get married, and it's not going to start talking marriage with a man that is not showing any interest in that, right? He asked me out twice, but I refused because I felt like within a year's time, I would probably become annoyed as usual. Ma'am, right now, and I've already read this, but I'm sharing my feelings as I read this, right? Ma'am, listen to what you're saying. He asked me out twice, but I refused because I felt like within a year's time, I would probably become annoyed as usual. You're already assuming the worst, man, before you're even giving this guy a chance. And he's picking up on that because he's older than you and he's probably had more experience and he's dealt with women like this. So he's seen red flags. He likes you, but he sees your inconsistencies, ma'am. Okay? But it never happened, and I enjoyed being around him. He was smart, man. He probably wanted you, but he wasn't being pushy. He wasn't pursuing you. So you were wondering why he wasn't pursuing you, and it made you curious. It made you want him more than he didn't want you. Other guys were probably throwing themselves at your feet, and you were just dismissing them, right? But the one dude that, doesn't ask you out and is just cool hanging out, being laid back, right? And not being needy or pushy. Now you want him. So you ask him out. That's great. It's great when the woman asks you out because it's a guarantee, right? So I asked him out. We've had fights and issues, of course, but we have worked through them. Well, that can happen with every couple. It happens. But I don't like to call them fights. I like to call them discussions, right? Don't call them fights. Call them discussions, okay? I am an anxious person, and he can be pretty avoidant and not express his feelings. Well, if you are very anxious and you're coming off very anxious, it's going to rub off to him, and maybe he's not going to feel comfortable expressing his feelings to you. But also, many men are just afraid in general to express their feelings because they never learned, how to show emotion. They've been always taught through society that, it's weak for a man to show emotions, and that's not the case, right? So this is something that you both are struggling with here. Okay. I tend to ask him to do things for me, and he gets defensive as if I'm calling him a bad boyfriend, something we are working through. Man, you shouldn't be asking him to do anything, especially early on when there's nothing established yet. You have no right to ask him for anything, right? And if you ask him for stuff, that's one thing. But if he says nah and you keep pushing it, then that's wrong, man. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe you're asking him for a lot or too much, and he's saying no, and you keep pushing it. Something we are working through. We have officially been dating a year, and I wanted to discuss goals we want for our relationship or our future we want. Well, ma'am, if you were with me, I would have already just left you. Or not even left you. I would have just said, it's not working out. Let's part ways. Because I just don't like your attitude. I don't like how you're coming off very, very entitled, and you're not entitled to shit. Nobody is, except your opinion. That's all. All we're entitled to in this world is our opinion, or our opinions, We both want kids one day and have said how cute our kids will be. Okay, you're both probably attractive. That's great. Recently, I said I want to get married one day, and his response was different. Okay. He said men usually get screwed over, and I asked if he knows what prenups are and where his point of view came from, and he blew me off a bit, but he also joked, "Are you proposing to me right now?" That was great. I mean, I would have said the same thing. I got to give this guy a big round of applause. Dude, that's a hell of a comeback for being 30 years old and having the amount of experience to be able to come back with that line. Dude, that's fucking fantastic, man. See what's happening here? This dude is handling this woman perfectly. She's pushing and pushing and pushing, right? And he's just resisting, right? And then he comes back and says, after she wanted to find out his feelings about the future and marriage, he blew her off and then joked, "Are you proposing to me right now?" That's great, dude. That's fantastic, man. I texted him the next morning because I don't want to waste time with someone who isn't ready to commit. Ma'am, if you don't want to waste time, then why would you even text him? Or why won't you just say, "Hey, it's not working out. We're on a different page." The reason why you keep pursuing this is because this guy isn't like every other guy you've encountered. Okay? He's resisting all of your shit tests. He is actually doing the right thing. He is. To me, it is important to know each other's goals and what if our end goals are too different? One of us will have to sacrifice how we feel and will be unhappy. I don't want either of us to be that unhappy person. Well, yeah, you should know each other's goals early on in the relationship. But, if you are talking with him about something and he's sharing how he feels about it and you're not on the same page, if you feel that, it's not going to be what you want in the future and you don't see a future with him because of that, then you got to let him know and move on. But you're continuing to pursue him, ma'am. Because this guy is basically doing everything right. Like another coach I follow, Coach Corey Wayne, says, this guy is following, the book that Coach Corey Wayne wrote, textbook perfect. That's why this woman she's coming off like she's upset, but she's actually very interested. She's trying to crack this guy because he's unlike any other guy she's ever come across. Good job, dude. Let me check out the chat here real quick. Aussie Outlaw says, this sounds like my daughter wrote this. So you don't want anyone's opinion? I don't understand. Is that the real you, Aussie, or is that a fake Aussie? Because it doesn't sound like the real you, dude. Why would you say so you don't want anyone's opinion? What are you talking about? Are you responding to the posting or me or come on, dude? Out of the Shadows with Ginger, they are not on the same level. Right. They're not meant to be together. He knows she's not the right person for him. But she's probably cute. They probably have great sex and they have fun. But he sees no future with her. And he's just, in my opinion, he's just kind of keeping her around until he finds someone better. Right. And the fact that, he's not giving in and he's making her work it, she's attracted to that because every other man has thrown themselves at her. This guy is a challenge for her. I like it. Some women try to change men. Right. That's what she's trying to do because he's not giving in to anything that she's saying. He's basically saying, oh, let's just see how it goes. And yeah, I don't know about marriage at this point because a lot of men, are being taken to the cleaners. I can't blame him for that. Right? I can't. Only one me, says Aussie. Out of the Shadows with Ginger, you can never change a person. You can only change yourself. That's true. 20 people in the box. Thank you so much for being here. You are responding to our comments that we made 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. Well, there's a 1 minute delay, and when I do these stories, I can't check the chat 100% of the time. So my apologies on that, man. We did have a conversation the night before, and he blew me off a bit and pretty much said I was starting an argument. You were, ma'am. You're being very pushy. You're being very pushy and overly needy, right? And I felt unheard, and I wanted him to give me a clear answer. The fact that you want him to do things for you and you continue to pursue means you're really into this guy because he's a tough nut to crack. And every other guy that's approached you has been a beta male, has been very pushy and needy and desperate and insecure. And this dude's a man. I actually respect this dude. This dude's a real man. It's interesting what women are attracted to, right? The next morning, I started a text off by saying, so she puts out her text conversation on Reddit. That's hilarious, man. This woman posted this conversation with her man on Reddit to the r/relationships forum because she just can't crack this guy. She wants opinions on how to crack this dude because I can't stand what he's saying, but I'm turned on at the same time because he's not giving in to me. Like, I got to get this guy. Oh, this is great, man. So here's how their texting conversation starts off. Me is her and him is him. Me, I was pretty insulted last night when you said I just want like the movies. To be honest, people fall in love and people do romantic things. It almost makes me feel like you're telling me that shit doesn't happen and I won't do anything for you. Him, he says, babe. Great answer, dude. Great answer. All he says is babe. Remember, this guy's 30 and she's 25. I remember I didn't understand relationships and women at the level I do nowadays when I was in my 20s. But when I hit my early 30s, I started to understand women at the level this guy understands them. And nowadays with Reddit and YouTube and having all these coaches out there, like this dude is probably very well versed, right? Maybe he's even red-pilled. Who knows? So she says, just saying. I think she meant to say well, not wheel, even though she spelled it wheel. Just saying, as per usual, you don't hear me. Oh, as per usual, dude, you don't hear me. I'm sorry. But I really do want a happy and in-love relationship. If you're not obsessed with me, then what's the point? Oh my God. The funny thing is, if this dude was obsessed with her, she'd be turned off by that. If you go back and read the beginning of the posting, you'll see that, like this woman just, was just not finding the right guy. Wow. He says, Am I not in love with you? That's a great answer, dude. Do I not kiss you to touch you every chance I get? It is just not enough. She comes back and says, I just think I love you more than you love me. That's not true, ma'am. You're just being very pushy. You're trying to push things way too far. This guy is probably very good looking. He probably makes very good money. He probably has his shit together. And she's trying to lock him down. She's trying to control the whole relationship. And this dude knows it. And he's just playing along. He's being cool. This guy is great, man. Let me go back to chat here real quick. Let me see here. Random was timed out. How come I can't see random? How come I can't see this? Give me a second here. Maybe it was held for review. Wow, she is pushing this. Aussie Outlaw says, each text would take me an hour to type, LOL. Oh, yeah, man. I'd be taking my time to respond, and I'd probably stop responding, or I would have moved on by now. Let's see. Aussie says, so the comments are out of context. Okay. That's what you call a back burner girl. A girl you keep around just in case. Well, he's just having fun with her. She's probably cute. She's probably good in bed and fun to hang around with. But when it's coming to the futuristic stuff, she's just pushing way too much. He gets back to her and says, don't I try to feed you and spend time with you as much as I can? Yeah, I mean, dude, I would say the same thing. Do I not think of you constantly and try to spoil you? I probably wouldn't have said the spoil you thing, but I get where you're coming from at this point. You feel like, she's being way too pushing out of line because you are, doing nice things for her. At least I assume that. Do I not randomly get you things because I want to spoil you? I'll talk to you later. I don't want to argue with you. Dude, that's textbook perfect, dude. Big round of applause, brother. Wow, dude. This dude at age 30 has got knowledge and awareness and balls. And he's so cool, and he probably follows Coach Corey Wayne or one of these other, coaches on YouTube, or has read a lot of Red Pill forums. Like, this dude is on his game, man. and she's not liking the fact that she can't play the same game on him as she plays on the beta males, right? This is great, man. She gets back and says, hey, I'm not arguing. He says, yes, you are. Probably in a nice tone of voice. Well, they're texting, right? She gets back and says, stop. I am not. I just want you to hear me. He says, you're starting one. She says, I am not. He says, I do hear you, but you don't hear me. What you say is not true. I mean, dude, I couldn't have said any better myself. She gets back and says, it is true. You're a really great boyfriend. You really are. But why the hell am I wishing for more? Or it to be different? Am I going to regret wasting our time? You see how she says our time? She doesn't even say my time. That's not selfish. She is so into this guy because she can't crack him. That is the key, guys. The moment your woman cracks your masculine core, it's over. She will lose respect for you. She'll fall out of love with you and she'll stop trying. When women are into you, they keep on pursuing. Now, this woman is psychopathically pursuing, but this is exactly what's supposed to happen when a man's being a man. And it doesn't mean as a man, you have to be a jerk. It just means you have to just, be honest and stand up for yourself and not kiss her ass. Just be cool. You got to treat her like a bratty little sister, right? That's what women want. He gets back and says, because you think I don't love you enough. And she says, if it's not something I've dreamed about, he says, what? She says, should I give up my dreams for you? Listen to this, man. This is, oh God. He says, what do you mean? What you dream about at night? He knows she's talking about her dreams of having kids and getting married. But he gets back to her and says, what do you mean? What you dream about at night? He plays dumb on purpose. And that is exactly what I would have done. I'd play dumb, right? And then she gets back and says, that's not what I mean. So she's still responding. This is great, man. These are the important texts. Okay, there's more. Let me check out the chat here. These are the important texts coming up. Let's see. Aussie Outlaw says, he said, do I not think of you constantly? Who texts like that? LMAO. That's true, man. Technical difficulties. What are the technical difficulties, man? Is something going on? Oh, okay. Give me a second here. Let me make sure we're rolling okay. Yeah, we're good. Hey, Admirals for Life. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Let's see here. Is it selfish? I only think of myself? Yeah, she's being very, very selfish here. That would turn me off. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, healthy people don't push, pressure, demand, or make ultimatums. Well, Ginger, you're Gen X like myself and my lady. Men and women are different nowadays, especially women. The millennial women, and the Gen Z women. This woman is right on the border of Gen Z and millennial. Millennial women are very, very indoctrinated into the feminist agenda. They're very, very empowered and very, very liberated. And so men have to be even stronger than ever before. This dude is very strong. He's cool. He's like a cool Chad. He's not a jerk. But he's not a sissy either. This dude is just a cool, reasonable, down-to-earth dude. Just sitting there and saying, babe, what's up? I mean, we're just hanging out and getting to know each other, and let's just see where it goes. Right? That's all. That's all he's doing. Aussie Outlaw says, at 30, I was in a Turkish prison. Best food ever if you like Turkish food. Out of the Shadows with Ginger, men are not that hard to figure out. Well, neither are women if if as a man, you understand, you learn and understand female nature, and you just, believe in yourself, and you're a strong, reasonable man, not a sissy. Aussie says, be back later. I will have my PC set up. Checking in the room at Byron Bay. All right, cool, man. Hello, says Admirals for Life. Hello once again. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says hello to Admirals. Ginger furthermore says, I never played games with guys or made outright demands. That's good. That's a good thing. But you grew up during a different time. And so did I. Yeah. Yeah. These are the important texts. Me, that's her, says, I just have hopes and dreams. My dream home, my dream life, my dream family and wedding and husband. We have different desires and aspirations for our relationship. I don't want to be someone's girlfriend forever. Like, I am not into it. And if we don't have the same aspirations for our relationship, then why should I give up what I want? It is fine to have different goals. You're really great, and I'm not saying marry me now. But this is like, if I want kids and you don't want kind of thing, we won't work out if our goals are major conflicts. It is important to date someone with similar goals. or else it'll be fights about things we want. We are more likely to break up just dating than to get a divorce. And he already knows that. But, ma'am, he's going to continue hanging out with you and having great sex with you and just, getting by until he finds what he really wants. Ma'am, if he's not the right guy for you, you should just withdraw. But you're still pursuing because you see value there. And you haven't met a guy that's been a challenge for you like he has been. We are more likely to break up just dating than to get a divorce. So I'm standing firm on my dreams and desires. I love you, okay? I do. You're the best boyfriend I could ever have asked for, and thank you for everything. Well, ma'am, if he's the best boyfriend you've ever had, you need to treat him like that. You're basically being extremely selfish and pushing your agenda onto him. That makes you a terrible girlfriend. Makes you a very, very selfish and entitled brat, right? This is what he says in return. You don't make it seem like it. Dude, that's... I swear to God, this dude must have balls the size of Alaska, man. That's a cool one-liner. You don't make it seem like it. Me? Thank you for everything. Legit. He gets back and says, the dream life has to happen before the wedding to me. Dream life and home. Make enough money. Wedding doesn't need to be the first thing to me. So what he's saying is that I want to be sure you're the right one for me. I want to test out the waters before I fully invest in you. I can't blame him for that, right? So in essence, they should be talking about, hey, let's move in together and see how that goes. And let's live together for a year or two and see how that goes, right? That's what I would do. That's what I'm doing with my lady, right? Now, we already know we're going to get married because we've lived together for a little while now. And, we're older and more mature and we know what we want and we just work. But this dude is saying, hey, let's take it one step at a time. Let's not jump the gun. I don't want to, put this in stone even 2 years down the road when I don't know yet. I just want to take it one day at a time, right? I never played games with guys or made outright demands, says Ginger once again. And Cephas Mo, hey, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the show. Ginger furthermore says, I raised my daughters to be independent but respectful of everyone, so they are not high maintenance and demanding. Yes, another great word. She is very, very high maintenance. And this dude is just calling her out in the most professional and respectful ways possible, which is why she really wants to get mad, but she can't because this dude is being calm about it. He's being like a cool, like James Bond. Very smooth, man. This guy is smooth, man. Much respect. Hey, Ginger, says Sifu Smo. Smo, good to see you, says Ginger. Smo says, Sifu Smo says, good to see you as well, Ginger. How's your night? She gets back to him and says, I'm not saying it is the first thing. I want to and you don't. He says, you don't know what I want. That's great, dude. I haven't even heard what he wants yet. He's right about that. She doesn't know what he wants. She doesn't even care about what he wants. She gets back and says, you want kids first before getting married in the home. You've told me what you want. You said, I don't want a contract. You were clear. He said, I do not like the idea. I've always wanted to get married. As I've learned more about marriage and the bindings it holds, I've liked it less because of the legalities, not because I'm scared of commitment. Dude, I don't blame you for that, right? Right? I don't blame you for that. You're trying to protect your assets. You don't want to make a mistake. And clearly, you have a lot more to bring to the table financially and with resources at this point than she does. I'm not saying she won't build resources as a woman. Women are liberated to have the same, equal opportunities and rights nowadays. But at this point, she sees you as the meal ticket. That's my opinion. That's honestly my opinion. And you're calling her out on it without being a jerk. Like, you're calling her out on it as best as I've ever seen. Dude, this is good stuff, man. Good stuff. Great stuff. She gets back and says, yeah, well, I'm not interested in being a fake wife. I'm interested in changing my name and all the legal bindings. Oh my God. I would not waste another second on this woman. Like, this dude's just having fun right now. And he goes, change your name? She gets back and says, because otherwise, that's still a fiancé and not a wife. You have a higher chance of breaking up than being divorced. You know, when you're dating someone early on, and even once you decide to fully commit and get married, it should be fun. It should be about hanging out, having fun, hooking up, right? You hang out with your partner. You go out, you have a great time. You come back to your place or their place, or if you're living together, the place you share together, and you hook up. And that's it. This woman is making way too big of a deal out of everything here. And it's become really comical to this guy. Gets back and says, not with kids. Okay. I mean, this is one of the best Reddit postings I've seen. I can't believe this woman put out their entire text conversation for the world to see, man. This is great. I had to do this tonight. Let's see here. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, yeah, she needs to chill out and respect his feelings too. Ginger furthermore says, good to see you, Smo, and you. Sifu Smo says, great. Just got the baby winded down for the night. She finally went to sleep. Cool, Dion. How you doing, brother? Great to see you, man. Dion, we got to do some shows together soon, bro. Things are really beginning to heat up over here in Coach Eli land and Don land. So you got to be a part of it, bro. And Ginger's going to be a part of it too. Yeah. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, marriage isn't for everyone. There are people who are married that don't commit. Well, you got to have the commitment. And, like, I'm not going to marry someone I don't truly love and care for. My woman, I truly love and care for. I treat her like my wife already. We're just not legally married, but we will be. But the truth of the matter is that marriage, like, if you're living with someone and it's almost like you're practically married, because you practically are, the difference is just not having that legality from the state, right? Now, some women, like my women, look at it as a sentimental thing, right? I get that, but that sentimental thing nowadays in the modern world can come with a hefty price tag. I don't blame this guy for feeling this way, especially, from the way this woman's behaving. Like, I wouldn't entertain this anymore, dude. I would be out looking for another woman and having fun with a woman that's laid back and more chill. Like, my woman, yeah, she has her moments, but she's laid back and fun and chill most of the time. This woman seems like she's got a stick shoved up her. We can't see that on YouTube, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it clean for the YouTube gods. I respect the YouTube gods, unlike some other people out here. Let's see. She says, we just have different wants. There are prenups and other things to protect you. Wow, she's really pushing this. Now she's bringing up prenups and other things to protect you. Honestly, you shouldn't get married if you're so scared the person you are marrying will screw you over. Wow. I'll tell you, the modern world and feminism has really, really changed women's attitudes. Like, back in the days of traditionalism, women would never behave this way, right? And I'm not saying that women shouldn't have a voice. They should, but this is really out of line here. Like, this is one entitled female dog here, okay? Let's just say that, to be YouTube friendly. Like, I would not entertain this at all. I'm not interested in being a fake wife, and I will never be. One day I will get married, legal bindings and all, and I refuse to give that up. I will not be a fake wife or a baby mama for some dude. Oh my God. Oh man. Wow. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, all that paperwork is a pain and the taxes are not worth it. Well, I mean, you can file together and get a little bit of a break, Ginger, but I mean, I get what you're saying. Wow. I mean, I'm 49 years old. I can sit here and laugh at this. If I was in his shoes at age 30, this would probably piss me off. I would have been gone. Like, I wouldn't even entertain this conversation at this point. But maybe this dude is curious and just, looking to see how far she'll push it, right? Now, she's done with the texting and says, at that point, I was done having the conversation with him about it. Yeah, because he responded to you in the most perfect ways any man could respond to someone or some woman behaving like you, or to any woman behaving like you. We aren't fighting, but his messages give me a weird feeling. Really, ma'am? His messages are giving you a weird feeling? You don't realize how entitled you're coming off, how spoiled and entitled you're coming off, and how demanding you're coming off, and you're trying to force this guy into something that he's not required to do. He can just say F you right now and be gone. And what are you going to do? Go show up at his house uninvited? What if he did that to you on the flip side? You'd call the cops and say, oh, I just broke up with him and he's here harassing me and stalking me, right? That's what you would do. But see, you, on the flip side, if he broke up with you, you'd go hunt him down at his house, right? Right? Especially since he wants to get married, but without the legalities and wants kids first. It's a little backwards. I can understand that aspect there. You should get married first before having kids, but a lot of people nowadays get pregnant unexpectedly before they get married while they're dating. So I understand both sides there. I'll give her that, but that's about it. Everything else I'm giving him, not because he's a dude, because he's right. TLDR, I brought up the topic of my future goals, dreams such as marriage. I'm not saying I want that right now, but in the future, I want to be proposed to and have a wedding. His response, he wants a house and kids first, then get married, but without the legalities. We aren't fighting, but his messages give me a weird feeling, especially about having a house and kids first before marriage without legalities. His parents are also married and happy. And if his parents are happily married, he's probably a good guy that had both and still has both biological parents, had them while he was growing up, and he sees the type of woman that he's attracted to based on the qualities his mother has, and he behaves in the ways as his father treats his mother. This guy is well-versed, very well-raised. He's a great catch, and this woman knows it. And she's trying to lock him down hard before he has any chance to find someone else. The bottom line is this dude's going to can her and find someone that respects him and appreciates him more and is going to take their time, right? And not be as pushy and needy. What do I do? Stop being a female dog, ma'am. Stop being a spoiled, entitled brat. Stop acting like, this is something that he should do. He has a choice, and you're practically not giving him a choice. You are trying to force this to happen. When you force things to happen, they don't go anywhere. But shouldn't we part ways if we don't have the same goals? Yes. Then why haven't you done that? He's probably wondering why you haven't done that. But if you keep coming back to him and you keep wanting to sleep with him, he'll sleep with you. You're probably good looking. You're 25 years old. You're 5 years younger than him. You're probably a beautiful, very attractive woman. You're probably a great lover. He probably enjoys your company, right? but you're really pushing something that shouldn't be pushed. It should happen more naturally. And you're trying to rush something while you're still young and he's young. You have plenty of time. Don't rush it. One of us will not get what they want. Sounds like he knows what he wants. And ma'am, you think you know what you want, but you really don't know what you want. Because if you really knew what you want, you would know how to better approach it. You wouldn't treat a guy this way. And she probably doesn't even realize that she's coming off this way. And she's probably been raised with a golden spoon. So she's probably never learned responsibility. And she probably has had every single thing handed to her. So she doesn't understand what the word no means. And when she hears no, she fights. In the past, when she was told no by her family and friends, she begged and begged and begged, and then they all gave in. And she thinks because of that, he's going to give in. I really love how this guy stood his ground. Now, we're going to go through a few comments here before we go off the air. We are at 51 minutes. We're going to go off the air in about 10 minutes. Let's see. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, my man proposed unexpectedly after 2 months of dating. I didn't push it. We waited 7 years to get married. Good for you. Ginger, why did he want to marry you after 2 months? Like, did you two hit it off instantly? Like, were you two like two peas in the pod? I mean, I'm just curious. Ginger says, furthermore, I'm surprised he kept responding. Most guys would not entertain her. No. But he was probably using it as a research study or a learning experience. There were times I used to talk to women before I met my lady Dawn. I knew it wasn't going to work out, but I kept on texting them back and forth because I was curious to see how they were going to respond. It became more of a research study than, even still trying to, make it work with that particular woman. So maybe that's what he was doing. It's fascinating how women in the modern world behave compared to how they used to behave. And I'm not saying men are any better. What I'm saying is that women are just very, very different nowadays. Very different. It's not necessarily all a bad thing, but some of it is. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, the other outcome of forced relationships is the person pressures will resent the other and end up cheating. True. Crazy Kid 94.9. Hey, Coach, what's up, brother? Is that the real Crazy Kid? Crazy Kid? Is that you? Oh, that is you, brother. That is you, brother. Crazy Kid, I like you, brother. As promised, we're going to welcome you to the moderator crew, Crazy Kid. How you doing, bro? Great to see you here, man. We're going to be going off the air in about 5 or 10 minutes. I was just doing a quick live stream tonight, catching people up. I'll remind people at the end of the show what I mentioned at the beginning, and then I shared I'm just finishing sharing an interesting dating story from a young couple. You may want to check out the replay, man. It was pretty interesting what I just read. Ginger says hello to Crazy Kid. All right. First comment, the dude is using a lot of words to say, I don't want to marry you. You're right. But he knows that she's being too much. And he's kind of playing her. Not really, but he's kind of looking to see how far she's going to push it. He knows what he's doing. And he barely used any at all. That's true. The less words, the better, right? If you can make women don't like it when guys talk too much, right? Even though women want to talk all the damn time, right? And they say the average woman speaks 8,000 words per day. The average man speaks 2,000 words per day, unless you're Coach Eli. I speak more than women do because I like to talk. But women like it when their men get to the point quicker and listen more. That's what women want. So this dude played it perfectly. This dude is using a lot of words to say, I don't want to marry you. And he barely used any at all. Yeah, exactly. And the whining, I've met high schoolers with more maturity who starts a relationship at almost 30 and doesn't speak clearly about goals for 2 years. Oh, so this woman is empowering her female sister, right? It's not that he doesn't want the relationship. It's the fact that she's being overly pushy about it. It's turning him off, but he's being nice about it. Because maybe he wants to keep her around a little bit because she's, good sex and fun to hang around with when she's not pushing this agenda, but he doesn't see a future with her. Original poster, yeah. But it is also my fault for not bringing it up earlier. Oh! The truth shall set you free. Yeah, but it is also my fault, says the original poster, for not bringing it up earlier. We had seen each other for a year, and he asked me out, but I said no, just because I felt like I should definitely get to know him more and completely. So you've been playing games, ma'am. Wow, man. Whoever this chick ends up with, God bless you is all I got to say, man. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. And then eventually I asked him out, and we've been dating for a year now. He's been playing it cool. He's just been hanging around you, hooking up, having fun and hooking up, hanging around you, hooking up with you, and having fun. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. There you go. Everything's been great. Joked about how we'd have cute kids and we both won in the future, but I didn't realize marriage goals would be so different. I don't think your marriage goals are that far apart. I think you're just being extremely pushy, right? And by you being really pushy, it's making him put his guard up. He's not overly guarded, but it's putting up a red flag and saying, hey, wait a minute. I want to get to know you. In other words, he's saying, I want to get to know you more before I invest a lifetime with you. Right? LMAO, he doesn't want to get married. That could be a possibility, but I don't think that. I think this guy does want to get married. He has 2 parents that are still together and probably set a great example, right? She's just not the right one. She's being too pushy. And it's throwing up red flags. So he's like, I'm 30 years old. My career's taking off. I'm making good money. I've got great resources. I want to share this with someone, but I want to make sure that they're going to appreciate it. And they're going to appreciate me more than my resources, right? I don't blame any man for feeling that way. I feel the same way, but I know my woman's with me for the right reasons, right? One of the main reasons why I love my woman, Dawn, is because if we had to live in a shack, she would live in the shack with me. So that's not the way this woman's coming off. No way. Original poster says, he said he wants to have a wedding, but without the contract part. LOL, so not actually get married. What he's saying, ma'am, is he wants to commit to you for life, but he wants you to understand, why should it take a legal contract between you and the state you both live in to do so, right? He's testing you, ma'am, and you're failing his shit test. You're failing. He is testing you, right? See, if this woman would have come back and said, you know what, babe, I understand where you're coming from in this modern world. Men and women are different, and women are empowered, and I know it's hard to trust nowadays. But honestly, honey, we don't have to push the marriage thing at this point. And you know what? If we just end up living a happy life together without getting married, I love you, right? You see, if she would approach it that way, he might say, wow, I'm blown away. And then he might propose to her 2 years down the road and do the legal thing. But let me tell you, I like this guy because, see, women shit test men to make sure they're strong enough and they're the right fit to be with them, right? But a smart, good man will shit test women like this guy is doing and like I've done, right? It's called the reverse shit test. Let's see here. Ginger says, I didn't follow the norm. We got engaged, set up a home together, had 3 kids, then got married. Okay, cool. It worked for you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations on that, Ginger. Ginger furthermore says the other outcome of forced relationships is the person pressures will resent the other and end up cheating. Okay, I already read that. Sorry. And I think I missed that one part. Oh, yeah, I read all that. Okay, Crazy Kid 949. It's me, Mr. Coach. Yeah, welcome to the Mod Crew, brother. Great to see you here. Crazy Kid was introduced to me by RJ Sandiford. Go to Crazy Kid 949, subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications. He's a great, great guy. Crazy Kid, CrazyKid 949. He's from the wonderful neighboring country of Canada to U.S. where I live. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, I was a smart, funny, low-maintenance girl, and not to toot my horn, but I was attractive too. He was used to pushy, bossy, and demanding high-maintenance women. No guy wants a pushy, bossy, high-maintenance woman. And I'll tell you, sometimes my woman, comes off that way unintentionally, and I don't respond to that. I'm like, baby, I'm not going to respond to this. And then, she may have her moment, then she comes back down to reality, and she's like, I'm sorry, baby. I just had a moment. I don't mean to be mean to you and stuff. I'm like, you're not being mean to me, baby. It's just that you women nowadays want to act like men. You want to act like the boss babe, and that's just unattractive to strong, strong, decent, down-to-earth alpha males. We're just not attracted to women that, want to act more masculine than feminine. And this woman with this dude is kind of trying to play the role of the man. It's like he's trying to push her to marry her or commit to marrying her in a few years. Right? It's the man's job to propose, not your job to force him to propose. Crazy Kid 949. I just watched the Michael J. Fox biography, and after the discovery of Parkinson's disease, he asked her, what will you do now? And she said, for better or worse, incredible woman. That is awesome. Michael J. Fox, one hell of an actor. I loved him in Back to the Future. That was my favorite. Remember Family Ties? One of my favorite shows I saw, or I would watch on NBC when I was growing up. And Back to the Future was one of my favorite trilogies. My favorite, even the first part was one of my favorite movies of all time. Carl, how you doing? Hey, everyone. Hey, Carl. Oops, I meant take care of her. Typos. No problem, Ginger. She is coming across like she wants a sugar daddy. She wants to lock him down to be taken care of. Right. No, you're right. You're right, Ginger. And he is spotting this. This dude, for a 30-year-old guy, this dude has his game down airtight. I'm really proud of this guy. This guy could actually coach other guys. I would put my name on the line for this guy. This guy is good. I respect him. Crazy Kid 949, thanks for the plug. Coach, you're welcome. We're going to get you monetized, Crazy Kid 949. And yeah, Crazy Kid, I'd like to interview you at some point. And I'd love to come on your channel at some point if you're open to that. If you can, please email me at coacheli@coacheliasmelas.com. That's coacheli@coacheliasmelas.com. It's below in the description, also in the About section of my channel. Email me, dude. Let's get something going. If you're on Facebook Messenger also, Crazy Kid 949, that's the best way to connect with us. I'm connected there with RJ and many of their moderators there, so that's a great way to get things, to keep things connected behind the scenes in between shows and content that we collaborate on. But thank you again for being here, bro. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's read a few more comments here before we go off the air. I really like this comment. I've read a lot of these comments also before I went live. This is a great one. Marriage is equivalent to a business partnership where the business is living life together as a team. Right. They're not being rude by saying this. I think it's a woman writing this. I'm surprised. Looks like a female avatar. Would you open a business with someone who wants to skip all the legal agreements? I would think that person is planning to screw me over at some point. It seems like he's on team him first and foremost and probably forever. Well, I don't agree with the last part, but I agree with the first part. It is a business partnership, kind of. It's a weird way to put it, but it makes sense. And you're living life together, and the business is living life together as a team. And he's not saying that he wants to skip all that. He is expressing his concern because he has a lot to lose. And I don't even think this guy would express any concern if she just backed off and slowed it down and let things progress naturally. She's trying to push him because she sees him as a very viable option. He's probably got a lot of women that are, talking with him even as friends, right? This guy probably has lots of options. And she's trying to lock him down because she knows it's going to be hard for her to find a decent guy like him. Guys like him don't come around every day, especially in the modern world. Especially, a millennial today in their early 30s. Come on, this guy seems like a good dude. Hello, business partner. I don't trust you at all, but just go ahead and invest in this venture without a written agreement, and I'm sure everything will be fine. Do you hear how this sounds? Marriage is not supposed to be about, okay, written agreement and, sign the written agreement. So, I'm sure that you're going to be there for me. We should do this all legally, right? I'm going to marry my lady probably sometime next year. We're going to do it very soon. We're not doing it because we want to, make sure that we're not going to screw each other over and blah, 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 blah. We're doing it because, it's something that's in the Bible. We believe in God, and, we want to make it official from a spiritual standpoint and a religious standpoint. We're not looking at it from the legal aspect, the legally binding contract of marriage. You look at it that way, it's not going to work. And I don't think this guy wants to even look at it that way, but he's coming off that way towards her because he's trying to say that you're just pushing too hard. She's being real pushy, and he's trying to politely say, hey, because you're pushing so hard and so much, I just don't feel comfortable at this point committing to marriage to you. And it may never happen. Probably won't. But he's also saying, hey, right now, I'm not in any hurry to get married. She's very attractive. We have great sex. We hang out and do things. And there's no one else that's, I find more, interesting I want to spend my time with. I'll hang out with her till something better comes up. That's how he's probably looking at it. Right? It's okay. We said some beautiful words on the beach in front of our loved ones and tied a pretty string around our joined hands. This merger is a sure thing. No take backseats. I don't know what that meant there. This is a really good analogy, original poster. I would never want kids before marriage just for the very legal protection he wants to shirk. You are taking a huge risk and making huge sacrifices when you have a kid. Being legally and financially protected is a must for that. He really just wants all the perks without any of the liabilities. Listen to these women. Women never, ever spoke like this. See, the problem is, it's not even a problem. Guys are starting to get smarter, right? A lot of men over the last 5 to 10 to 15 years or so have been taken in these same situations. So these men are coming out on social media, sites like Reddit, YouTube, and they are red pilling men. They're making men aware of modern day female nature. And women are just getting upset because more men are becoming aware and they're not giving in to marriage as easily as they shouldn't. I'm not saying don't get married, but find the right person. I think buying property together without being married is riskier than having kids. It's actually not. It depends whose name the property is on, right? If he buys the property all on his name and it's his house and they're not married and she's not on the contract, she has no rights to that place. It's kind of like the dude buying a house before he met her and then she moved in. That's not her house, it's his. Now, if they end up getting married, any of the assets that are accrued during the marriage, including any equity built on the house from the time that they get married, is half hers. But anything before they got married is all his. That's the way it works. Systems are pretty well in place to work out child support and custody regardless of marriage. Look, you see how far they're taking this? It's just ridiculous. And the rest is just really petty. I'll read a couple more and then I'm going to go off the air. Folks, get your final questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air in just a few minutes here. The next comment, exactly. He doesn't want to get married, which is dumb. He knows a house and a mortgage are a fucking contract, right? And kids are harder to get rid of than a marriage, right? This person here must be a woman. Sounds very angry and bitter for the same reasons that, the original poster is feeling about this guy. He doesn't want to get married. If you're okay with that, that's fine too. But he's very clearly not going to marry you. Yeah. I mean, he's trying to be nice about it. I mean, who knows? Maybe at some point he'll come. This was just written earlier today. It was posted earlier today. Maybe at some point, sooner than later, he'll come out and say, it's just not working out for me. This is too much. We need to part ways. It's inevitable for that to happen. But he's going to probably keep her around either A, for as long as she's willing to stay around, or until he finds a better, option, whichever comes first, right? Why not? If she can't see that and doesn't walk away herself for not getting what she feels she deserves, then she's going to deserve what she gets. It's her choice. When you make choices to stick around something that's not serving you, you deserve what you're going to get. That's all I'm saying. Imagine you are 40 with kids and you've sacrificed career movements and personal wealth building for playing house with him, and he decides he's out. You are shit out of luck. He doesn't want to support you to the end, and it's glaringly obvious. Women would not talk like this 40, 50 years ago because they were dependent on men for survival before they got their equal rights and all that, right? But look how they're talking today. They're angry and bitter because guys are choosing to not get married, are choosing to withdraw. Now, I'm not saying you should do one or the other. You do what's right for you. And I still believe men and women were meant to be together, but you got to find the right partner for you, or you will suffer. Bottom line. All right. Let's go back to full screen and wrap this up here. We're going to go over the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up. We're at 1 hour and 14 minutes. Still have 22 people here. Thank you so much for being here, folks. 24. Appreciate that. Eli, can't wait to do another show with you and Dee. Well, yeah, I'm waiting to get her chair delivered. It should be here hopefully in the next 1 to 5 days. And then, yeah, she'll be sitting right here, right next to me with her Shure SM58. That sounds really, really good. Let's see. Hope everyone's good, says Carl. Crazy Kid 949 says, just as women don't want men to be the power over them, Men don't want women to be in power over them. Well, yeah, the thing is, dude, women will not respect a man they can't look up to, right? So this dude is playing his cards right. If he gave in to her, she would come off controlling and she would come off as the one wearing the pants. And I'm not saying that even he should wear the pants. They should both equally wear the pants. But if a woman perceives to be stronger than you and feels like she's wearing the pants and has all this control and can get whatever she wants from you, she will not respect you. It'll be over, right? This woman is continuing to try because of the way the guy is responding to her. He's being really cool about it, and it's just great. I'm proud of him. Men want a companion that compliments them, not complains about them. Right. Yeah, that's another way to put it, man. Thank you for sharing, Crazy Kid 949. Ginger says, ha. I could coach other women on relationships. Of course you could. Crazy Kid, great point, says Ginger. Crazy Kid 949 says, thumbs up, friend. It helps Coach's channel get more recognition as YT sends this out to 7 people for every like we give him. Really? I didn't know that. Is that true? That's great. Thank you. Yeah, please smash the thumbs up and share it out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ginger says, but she is refusing to respect his feelings or concerns. Yeah, she's very spoiled, entitled. She's a spoiled female dog. You know? Carl says, me and my fiance set up a company together, so we work together and live with each other, and it works well. Been like this for 10 years. We have our moments, but in the most, it's great. That's good, bro. That's the way it should be, man. How about a big round of applause for Carl? Thank you, man. Awesome. Carl, I think you subscribed to the channel yesterday. I saw you subscribe to my email. That's great, man. I got it in my email, I mean. How'd you find out about the channel, man? Are you the same Carl that's been around in the past? I'm just curious. Or are you new here? And how'd you find out about us? Thank you for being here. Crazy Kid sent you an email, Coach. Thank you, bro. I'll get back to you tomorrow because I'm going to bed after this. It's 3:11 a.m. Eastern, and in my neck of the woods, it's only 12:11 a.m., but I want to get to bed to, get an early start tomorrow. I'll share more about that here in a second when I'm done going through the chat. Ginger, I'd love to do a panel with you as well, says Sifu Snow. We'll get them all on the panel, Dion, absolutely. But we got to spread the love amongst all of our channels. We just can't do everything here. I don't mind doing shows here on Coach Eli too, and even doing some pre-recorded content collaboration style on my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas. But we got to diversify through all the channels. And that way we can further the exposure for everyone and grow exponentially together. Let's see here. Sounds fun, Smo, says Ginger. My email is in my About section. Cool. Crazy Kid 949 says, that's fantastic, Carl. Congratulations on your successes and wish you many more successes in the future. Thanks, Crazy, says Carl. Okay, Ginger, says Sifu Smo. Crazy Kid says, women have been telling men for decades to smarten up. Now that we have smartened up, they don't like it. Right. Big round of applause, man. Big round of applause. Exactly. I'm telling you, the millennial women, not all, and even the men, most of the millennial men and women are very spoiled and entitled, right? Okay. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. And, yeah, men have smartened up. Men are starting to smarten up. Now, I still know a bunch of millennial men that are beta males and just don't even realize that their millennial woman is completely running their relationship. And if the man allows that to continue to happen and doesn't stand up for himself, she's going to lose respect for him and eventually fall in love with him and leave him. That's why I do what I do. I want to help men and women learn to better get along and have sustainable, long-lasting relationships. Out of the Shadows with Ginger says, that sounds like a wonderful match, Carl. Furthermore, Ginger says they are going way down the rabbit hole. Carl, Out of the Shadows, it works perfectly for us. Cool. Ginger furthermore says, if I were him, I would change my number before she goes all bunny boiler. Yeah, you're probably right. She'll stalk him and harass him. But if he were to do that to her on the flip side, if she dumped him, she'd call the cops, right? That's what happens nowadays, right? Aussie Outlaw, all checked into our room. Hey, you're back on your main account. At the resort, we have an amazing view of the staff car park. LOL, that sounds wonderful, bro. I hope you and your lady are having a wonderful time there. Carl says, I like walking videos. I joined on one of them. You asked if I was another Carl. Cool, right on, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. 1-800-FRAUDBUSTERS 2.0. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, 1-800-FRAUDBUSTERS 2.0. All right, folks, we're going to leave 24 in the box, 12 thumbs up. Please share this out. Please smash the like button. And as a reminder, here's what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to be doing an interview with Brutally Lauren at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, live right here on Coach Eli 2. Authentic live streams, the most positive place on the internet. And Lauren and I, we have known each other for almost 5 years. And, we're back to working together. She's back to being a moderator here on my channel. I'm sure she will probably make me one on hers. I'm not asking for it, but, that's just the way it's been in the past. And we're going to talk about the last 4 to 5 years on YouTube, and we're going to hear her side of the story because she's known pretty much the same people I've known. And she's been through the ringer. She's had people pin and pit her, against, other people. And I was one of them. Like, these same people that have been coming at me have pinned Lauren and I against each other. And, all Lauren and I ever wanted to do was create some great content regarding mental health years ago and help those people. And I'm thinking now we're going to be able to do that. So we're going to share more tomorrow night right here on Coach Eli 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Before that, I'm going to be doing an early Walking with Purpose stream tomorrow. It's going to start no later than 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, because at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern, I got to take my lady to the doctor for another appointment for a little bit. So the walking stream will happen in the mid-afternoon on the East Coast, early afternoon on the West Coast, and then in the late evening on the East Coast and the early evening on the West Coast, the interview with Lauren. So please join us for that. It's going to be a very interesting day. A lot more content's coming here, folks. Please keep it locked here. Make sure you also subscribe to my other channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas. If you haven't already done so, the link is below in the description in the chat. And that's going to do it. Thank you for showing up tonight, Crazy Kid. Lots of love, bro. Okay. All right. Everyone else is just saying hi to everyone. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.